Hello everybody and welcome back to Dollar Tree Dinners. My name is Rebecca and today is the start of what I hope is something truly wonderful. A while back I did a video where I cooked World War II recipes for dinner, and in that video I said this. It's the type of meal that makes me kind of sad that I don't have a big family to cook for, because I would love to be able to make big dinners like I did here, but we're only 2 people, so there's only so much that we can eat. And I had a comment from somebody that suggested that I try to see if there's anybody in my area in need of meals that I could cook for, essentially. And I kind of took that idea and I ran with it. So I've been posting in local community groups and buy nothing groups looking for senior citizens or disabled persons who are in need of meals. And I do have someone to cook for now. So from my understanding, the person I'm cooking for is a widow, and she has a disabled grandson who lives with her. From what I've been told, the grandson can only use the microwave, but it was already in my mind to prepare ready-made microwave-friendly meals. I'm a huge fan of meal prepping, and I've been wanting to share more meal prepping content, and now that is a way that I can do that, and then also be able to donate those meals to someone who needs them. So today is episode 1 of Cooking for Someone in Need, and I really hope that this grows into something. Hopefully I can take on some more people, cook for more people, maybe even grow into a commercial kitchen someday. I have all these big dreams now of potentially having ready-made microwave-friendly meals for senior citizens and disabled persons. Hopefully this gives them a better option than some frozen microwave-friendly meals. I'm very excited about this. I think it's going to be fantastic. The person is coming this evening to pick up the meals for her. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to be making breakfast, lunch, and dinner for her. I am going to be packing all of the meals in these reusable microwave containers. Hopefully we can just get in a system where I make her meals in the containers. I get last week's containers back and then I wash them and reuse them. But this is my first time doing this, so I'm not really quite sure the logistics of it. But for now I am going to be using these containers. You guys ask about these all the time. I did get them off Amazon. I will try to leave a link in the description box below to something like this. I don't know if these specific ones are still available, but they are, I believe, 24 or 25 ounce containers. I have some other containers. These are Rubbermaid brand and I got them from Walmart, but these are, I want to say 32 ounces. And I have personally found that these are too big. If you put like a normal size portion in them, it looks small. And if I fill them up, it's just too much food. I'm aiming to make her 18 meals today, which is 6 breakfasts, 6 lunches, and 6 dinners. As I mentioned, she does live with her disabled grandson, so these will be kind of split between the 2 of them. So this is the trial run. This is the first go. And so I'm kind of keeping it small. The lady who's picking them up said 1 to 2 meals. I'm going with 3 just because I want her to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So the person I'm cooking for says that she has no dietary restrictions. She has no food allergies. And the only thing she really doesn't like is asparagus. So just rolling with that and kind of have free reign to cook whatever I want. And then I'm sure that we will learn and grow together as to what she enjoys and what she doesn't enjoy. But for her breakfast, I was gonna make something inspired by an IHOP omelet. Specifically their meaty, cheesy, crispy mega omelet. So I thought that would be a fun place to start. I'm not gonna be making like actual omelets because I'm doing this kind of meal prep style. So I am kind of coining this as an omelet in a bowl. But to start off, I have an 18 pack of eggs because again, I'm making 6 meals. So that's gonna be 3 eggs per meal. It says diced ham, so I have a package of pre-diced ham just to make things a little easier. You could also use like a ham steak or anything that's kind of cheap or on sale. It says smoked sausage, but I needed bacon for dinner, so I'm trying to kind of overlap ingredients a little bit. So I'm going to be using bacon for both the breakfast and for the dinner. I'll use half for each. It says hash browns. I may or may not put them in there because, again, it's not going to be eaten fresh. It's going to be microwaved, although I think it would add a little bit of bulk to it. So I do have some dehydrated hash browns. I usually get these at Dollar General for $1 a box. 4-cheese blend. I am going to be using this bag of triple cheddar. This was on sale for $2 at Food Lion. It is cheddar, or mild cheddar, sharp cheddar, and Vermont white cheddar. It also says a white cheese sauce, so for that I got this jar of Pace queso blanco. I think that's a really interesting addition. I've never really thought to put queso on an omelet. And then the last thing it says is peppers and onions. I have a red onion, I have 2 green bell peppers, The red onion I'm also going to be splitting. I'm only using half of it for breakfast and the other half with lunch. I will go online and try to compile a price of each one. I'm trying to keep them around $20, but I am kind of overlapping ingredients. $20 to make 6 meals is about $3 a meal, so it's a little bit more expensive than what I usually show, but again, these aren't meals for me or my household. They are meals to donate. So I'm investing a little bit of extra money because I know they're going to be donated. That's just my mindset. All right, let's go ahead and get started on our omelets in a bowl. As I mentioned, half of this red onion is gonna be for lunch, so I'm only gonna be using half of it for breakfast. So I'm gonna finely dice this first half of the onion. I've also been told that she mostly just currently eats tuna. The other half of the onion is gonna be for lunch, so I'm gonna finely slice it. And next up, I am going to be dicing the bell peppers. I'm still acclimating to these new knives because I had a lot of muscle memory with my old set of knives. So I'm a little slower with this new set than I am with the old set because it's also a lot sharper than my old set. I do think I am going to put the hash browns in it, so I'm going to get those rehydrating too. That's going to take about 12 to 15 minutes. So by the time I'm done with the rest of this, these should be ready to go. If you've never tried these dehydrated hash browns, they're great because they'll just keep in your pantry. They're only about $1, at least at Dollar General, and you can get them at Dollar Tree too. I currently have about 4 boxes in my pantry, and I love the idea that I don't have to worry about a bag of potatoes going bad. Like, I can always have hash browns at the ready. And then the last thing to prep is going to be the bacon, which, like I mentioned, I'm using half of this for the breakfast and half of it for the dinner. But I'm going to go ahead and chop the entire package. This is thick cut bacon. It was just what I could get on sale. But I'm a pretty flexible cook when it comes to certain things. So I'm going to just finely chop this, and I'm going to be cooking the whole thing because I do need cooked bacon for the dinner, not raw bacon. So I can just go ahead and get that out of the way with the breakfast prep. So let's go ahead and start with cooking up the bacon. I have a cold skillet. I like to start it in a cold skillet because you render out a little bit more fat that way. And then while my bacon cooks up, I'm going to go ahead and crack and scramble all 18 eggs. My voice is back for the most part at this point. And I am so glad you guys enjoyed that last video. And I'm actually really surprised by how many people enjoyed the no talking, just ASMR cooking. So that makes me really happy, especially when, I do something that's a little bit different. I feel like every video I say that I'm doing something a little bit different. It's just because I kind of just go with the flow and do whatever I kind of feel like doing that week. You guys are so kind and so patient with my lack of consistency. I appreciate it. The trick to removing eggshell is to use an eggshell. Somehow they're kind of like attracted to each other. Let's give all those a good mix. Add some water to make them extra fluffy. And I'm also going to be seasoning them with salt and pepper. I know there's like some conflicting information about whether you salt your eggs before you cook them or after you cook them, but I tend to just salt them before. Bacon is frying up. I'm going to let that go until it's really crispy. I also think I'm going to make her some muffins. So I have some banana nut mix and some chocolate chip mix. I love to mix these two together. They make a chocolate banana nut bread. And we're going to be mixing that with 1 cup of milk. I love to mix muffin mixes together because you can make some combinations that you can't buy. Like Martha White doesn't make a banana chocolate chip muffin mix or a chocolate banana. So I make my own chocolate banana. I'm going to line these with some cute little muffin liners I got from Dollar Tree. It's kind of like a plaid pattern. That's another thing I always try to look for at Dollar Tree is like cute muffin liners or cupcake liners. They always have a fun selection. And I really hope that she enjoys the meals because I upload the videos. She could actually see them being made if she wanted to. All right, that bacon is pretty much done. I did turn the heat down a little bit because I'm distracted. When I'm multitasking, I tend to cook on a little bit of a lower heat, so I don't have to be quite as attentive, but that looks perfect. That's exactly what I was going for with the bacon. Go ahead and strain our bacon. And now we have our bacon crumbles that we can use with our omelet and with our dinner. And then I have the bacon fat below for cooking. I'm gonna kind of briefly saute the peppers and onions. I don't want them to be too soft because again, they're gonna be microwaved later on. So I still want them to retain some of their texture. But I will ever so lightly saute them in a little bit of that bacon grease. I find that when I'm meal prepping, there are two versions of meal prepping for me. There is the get it done fast and use every dish that I have in my house, or there is, in my opinion, the, so there's the get it done fast and use every dish in my house, or there's the take my time, do it step by step, and reuse dishes as I go so I don't have a lot of stuff to clean. And I kind of change between those two, but today I'm trying to just take my time, do it step by step so I have a little bit less things to clean at the end. I'm also going to go and throw in my muffins, 350 for about 20 minutes or so, 18 to 20 minutes. Once the onions are a little bit translucent, that's pretty much all I'm going for. So as you can see, I'm kind of putting together components of the meal preps and then I will assemble them kind of assembly line style. And then next we have the hash browns, and for those I'm going to be using a combination of the bacon fat, about 2 tablespoons, and 2 tablespoons of butter. Need a lot of fat to get good hash browns. These are the rehydrated hash browns. I did drain them, but there really wasn't much liquid to drain. I'm just going to give those a toss in the fat. And let those crisp up and fry. About 4 to 6 minutes per side. I think we're ready to flip. Perfect. This is another thing where it's not like imperative for it to be perfect because these are going to be reheated in the microwave. So I'm really just crisping them for flavor more than texture, because once they're microwaved, they're not going to have any of that crisp left in them, but I still want them to have that caramelized flavor. So there we go with our hash browns. And we've got such minimal cleanup because I've just been reusing the same skillet for everything. And I kind of saved the eggs for last, so let's go in with another 2 tablespoons of bacon fat, maybe 3. We're going with 3 because we have 18 eggs. I think one of the reasons that I've always liked meal prepping is because it gives me a chance to just kind of slow down and cook, knowing that I really only have to do it one time. So I can take my time and enjoy the process, and then throughout the week I have meals that I can just throw in the microwave. And my muffins are done. Let's pop those out and let them cool. It was 20 minutes pretty much on the dot. Those look great. Look at those perfectly scrambled eggs. We have everything prepped. I have the eggs, bacon, ham, peppers and onions, hash browns. We have the cheese sauce, and then I have the shredded cheese. I'm going to be dividing this all into 6 containers. Let's start with the eggs. I'm just going to divide them as evenly as possible between the 6. I usually do about a scoop in each, and then I'll go back through and redistribute the rest. I'm going to break up some of those egg chunks so that they're nice and even on the bottom. And that'll also give me an opportunity to make sure that one doesn't look fuller than the rest. Usually I like to use measuring cups to make sure that I'm distributing it evenly, but I can also just eyeball it for the most part. I'm kind of nervous. I really hope she likes these. I'm sure that she will, but this is the most unique thing I think I've ever done, and so I'm kind of nervous about it. I hope it works out. All right, I will go and switch to my measuring cup for this, and I will do about a 1/4 cup of the cooked peppers and onions. Any extra peppers and onions, which I definitely look like I'm gonna have extra, I will save for my own meals this week. I do the same with our cubed ham, 1/4 cup of each. I guess I should have did the well, I'll do the hash browns next. I'll do the bacon last. Next we have the bacon, but I need to reserve half of this for dinner. So I'm just gonna sprinkle on a little bit of bacon onto each one. And lastly we have our cheese sauce, or our queso blanco. Drizzle a little bit on each one. So yeah, anytime I do restaurant inspired meals, I'm not really looking up any recipes. I'm just going based on their picture and their description and then just kind of winging it from there. Same thing with my crumble cookies. Anytime I recreate those, I'm just kind of backwards engineering it based on the picture and the description. So I use about half the jar of queso. I don't want to have too much sauce. I want it to be an enhancement, but I don't want it to be swimming. Then we have the triple cheddar cheese blend. Sprinkle some of that on top of each one. And this is why I said that these containers that I have, these are 24-ounce containers. They are like the perfect portion, because if I had done them in my bigger ones, they would look practically empty. And this is a really good serving. These are definitely my favorite meal prep containers. And there is our breakfast bowls prepped and ready to go. I am very excited. She's just really gonna have to reheat these in the microwave. I usually pop a corner. I'll give her some instructions, but I usually do about 90 seconds per breakfast. So in case you want to make something like this, that's how you do it. I usually just pop one of the corners for ventilation and then pop it in the microwave for 90 seconds. Now we're moving on to what I'm gonna be making her for lunch, and I kind of had a little bit of back and forth on this, but ultimately I decided on pasta salad, because when I made the AI generated Easter brunch video, I picked up a bottle of this sun-dried tomato vinaigrette, and one of my followers, or one of my subscribers, commented that they love to use this to make pasta salad. And since it's just in my fridge and I need to use it up, I figured that's a great way to use it. So that's the first ingredient, the sun-dried tomato vinaigrette, or you can use any vinaigrette or Italian dressing that you have. I also have a box of garden rotini. This is the tricolor rotini pasta. Again, pasta salad can really be made with any pasta. I just thought that this would look nice and add some color. This is not my recipe. This is from A Pinch of Yum, and I will link it in the description box down below. But we also need some grape tomatoes. I think this is too much. I'm probably only gonna use half of this. I'll save the other half. I should have just gotten one of the smaller pints, I feel like. I have some mozzarella pearls. I, of course, have the sliced red onion from breakfast. I have some olives. I'm using kalamata olives because that's what I have in my pantry. You can also use black olives if you prefer. Salami or pepperoni. I'm using salami. And then she recommends pepperoncini. She put in the recipe, optional, but do it, which to me is like, oh, well, it's not really optional, you probably should. So optional, but do it. So pepperoncinis. Pasta salad, that way she has something that she doesn't necessarily have to reheat. Plus it's getting warmer, and maybe something cold would be kind of refreshing. I am gonna get some water boiling on the stove while we prep the ingredients for the pasta salad, which is probably gonna be pretty easy because the Kalamata olives that I have are already sliced, so I don't have to do anything with that. I've also already sliced the red onion. There's nothing to really do with the mozzarella balls because those are ready to go. So really all I'm gonna be doing is chopping the salami, the tomatoes, and I'm probably gonna chop these down a little bit too. I am gonna slice enough cherry tomatoes just to fill up this bowl, and that's probably gonna be it. You can also leave them whole, but you guys know I have an aversion to whole cherry tomatoes. I like to at least cut them in half. I think that it has a better bite that way. So there's my cherry tomatoes, and it was a little over half of this container, so I probably could have just gotten away with 1 pint. I might have to leave out the pepperoncini because I think this jar was compromised. This pepper was hanging over the edge here, so it looks like it got caught in the seal of the jar. And if it was just for me, I would be fine with it, but I'm making it for someone else and I don't want to give her anything that might make her sick. So this jar of pepperoncinis apparently was compromised, so, well, there goes that. So just the salami then. I am a lot less picky about how I prepare meals for myself than I am for how I prepare meals for others. So I'm going to quarter this salami. It says a pound, but I feel like that's a lot. This isn't quite a pound, it's 14 ounces. And then optional, but as I mentioned, if you take red onions and you soak them in some ice water, it helps to remove some of their bite. So I am going to do that just to make them a little more mellow. I'm hoping that 1 pound of pasta is enough because I almost bought a second pound, but I kind of forgot. It says it serves 6, so hopefully it does make 6 servings. So I also want to stop it from cooking, so I'm going to rinse it in cold water until the pasta is well chilled. This is the biggest bowl I've got, so there's our 1 pound of cooked rotini pasta, along with our sliced grape tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, our sliced salami, our sliced red onions, our mozzarella balls. Let's break those up as I put them in. And our sliced kalamata olives. And we're gonna dress this in the sun-dried tomato vinaigrette. Usually start off with about half the bottle and then see if I need to add more. I give this all a toss. I'm probably gonna use the whole bottle, actually. There's nothing wrong with a saucy pasta salad, plus the pasta is going to soak up some of it. I hope you guys are enjoying this process, and it does give me the opportunity to share some meals kind of outside of what I normally do. Give you some recipes that I would struggle to incorporate into a normal video. And then the plus side is that someone gets meals for free out of it. And isn't that just the best part of it? Let's get a measuring cup. Let's see how much a serving is. Well over 2 cups in each one, perfect. And at this point my muffins are nicely cooled, so I'm going to be packaging those in a bakery box for her. I bought these back when I did the crumble cookies because I actually made each of those crumble cookies twice. Once for YouTube and once for TikTok. So I had a lot of extra cookies, and I packaged up some of them and I dropped them off at the food pantry, and some of them Michael brought with him to work. So they definitely got distributed because I had about 64 cookies at the end of it to give away. I also labeled the box with what's inside, which is chocolate banana nut muffins, and there are all 12 of them packed up and ready to go. How cute is that? I think she's gonna love that. And the last thing to prep is gonna be her dinners, and for that I picked out a dish called Aussie Chicken. It's a dish from Outback Steakhouse, and for that it's basically honey mustard chicken. So I have a package of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I also have some honey mustard dressing, and then it's topped with Colby Jack cheese, so I have a shredded bag of that. It's also topped with bacon, which is why I got bacon for breakfast. And then for sides, I'm gonna do some butter and herb mashed potatoes and also some roasted broccoli. These chicken thighs were about $10. They were $9.78, and there are 8 of them in there, which I feel like is 6 meals. Typically when it comes to chicken thighs, because there's a little bit smaller pieces, I do 8 per 6 meals. You can also use breasts if you prefer, but I like chicken thighs. I like dark meat. And I guess we'll find out if she also likes dark meat. I'm gonna try to get some feedback from her and like things that she liked and didn't like, so I can cater them to her specific tastes. So you can cook the thighs whole, but I was thinking that it would probably be better to, number one, I have to clean them, cut off all these little like fatty bits, but also I'm gonna cube them into about 1-inch chunks. And then as I cube them, I'm gonna toss them in a bowl. In the state of Virginia, where I live, individuals can also prepare foods to donate to food pantries and food banks from their own household. And that is something that I have discussed with the director of my local food pantry. potentially making some freezer meals to donate to them, especially for some of their clients who live in motels and hotels and have limited cooking tools. So that might be something that I do down the road as well, is making some meals for the food pantry to donate. For them, they would have to be frozen though, because I don't know how long they're gonna be there before they're picked up. So I want to play around with that a little bit and try to make some meals that are kind of freezable. Thinking like in terms of like lean cuisines and smart ones and, you know, those kinds of packaged frozen meals. I'm not really sure the logistics of production with those, but that's essentially what I might be doing for the food pantry soon too. For this chicken here, I'm just going to be seasoning it with some seasoned salt. And tossing it to coat. I preheated my cast iron skillet. It's good and smoky. We're going to go in with some of that bacon fat from breakfast. Again, probably about 2 tablespoons or so. It's a little solidified because it's been sitting. And then I'm going to do this in batches. Probably about 2 batches. Try to get some nice color on the chicken. That's what I'm going for. You see that little bit of char right there on that? That's exactly what I want. All right, that is good. Go ahead and remove that. And then we can get started on batch number 2. Hopefully it's not too noisy in here because I have the fan running. But that is all of our cooked chicken. But I do need to let this cool because it's quite hot right now. In the meantime, I'm going to work on the sides. So the broccoli, which is a 24-ounce bag of broccoli florets that I accidentally thawed. I did not really mean to thaw them. I meant to put them in my freezer and I must have accidentally put them in my fridge. But it still will roast, they'll still roast up totally fine, thawed. Usually I roast them from frozen. It's just easier roasting them from frozen, but they'll actually roast a little bit faster this way. So I'm gonna drizzle them with some oil and season them with some salt and pepper. I tend to keep my roasted vegetables pretty simple. Mostly just salt and pepper, sometimes some garlic powder, onion powder, but I'm gonna keep these really simple. So this pepper cracker that you see me using is from Dollar Tree. And just gonna toss that to make sure everything's coated. And then those are gonna get tossed in the bottom rack of a 400-degree oven. I'm gonna start with 12 to 15 minutes and then I'll check on them and see how they look. This family-sized bag of butter and herb mashed potatoes definitely could have made fresh potatoes, but I think that these are great. I love them. And, you know, for the sake of making this kind of an easy-ish dinner, I think this will pair really well with the chicken and the broccoli. 4 cups of boiling water, which I did on my kettle. Pretty sure that's gonna be exactly 4 cups. Yep. And our packet of potatoes, give that a whisk. I use these for meal prepping a lot for myself. I'm gonna cover that and just let it rehydrate while the broccoli cooks in the oven. So this is the final meal, the Aussie chicken. The broccoli is roasted, the chicken is cooled. I'm gonna toss the chicken in some honey mustard dressing. Probably more than that. Yeah, that looks better. And then I'm also gonna add some butter and some sour cream to these potatoes just to make them a little bit less like instant potatoes. I'll go in with a couple of pats of butter, maybe about 2 tablespoons. Just cut that up. And also about 1/2 cup of sour cream. They're also a little on the thick side, so that'll thin them out a bit too. Sometimes you can just doctor up instant potatoes just to make them a little bit more homemade. I mean, those look pretty smooth and creamy to me. They almost look like fresh potatoes, actually. Let's start with our roasted broccoli. I'm gonna nestle that into one end of the container. And it is roasted, again, for flavor more so than for texture, because this is the same situation once it's reheated in the microwave. It's not going to have the same texture as it would fresh out of the oven. So there is the broccoli. Let's just kind of zhuzh that over to one side. So next we're gonna go in with some of our chicken. Trying to just make sure that each one has an equal portion. Also trying to keep it kind of neat and packed in there. And then lastly, this is probably more mashed potatoes than I need. I'm gonna put a nice scoop of potatoes in each one. Which, no, I had just enough potatoes. Perfect. I like it when I don't waste anything. I don't like it when I use it all up. I do think there's probably enough sauce on the chicken, but I am gonna give it just a light drizzle of honey mustard right on top. They're also each gonna get a sprinkle of Colby Jack cheese over the chicken. And then that's where the bacon bits come in. A little bit of bacon over the chicken too. And then that is our final meal prep. I have officially made 18 meals to donate to someone in need. I hope they are enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed this process, meal prepping along with me. Maybe got some ideas from it. Otherwise, I've just enjoyed taking you guys along with me, and I do really anticipate this becoming something. Maybe this is my future, who knows, but I really enjoyed this. And I only hope that she enjoys the meals. There's one last thing that I'm going to do for these, which is going to be to make some labels for each one, just talking about what's inside each one as far as ingredients go. Not like a breakdown of ingredients, but like scrambled eggs with ham and bacon, you know, things like that. And then reheating instructions as well, so that she can just grab them, throw them in the microwave, or her grandson can throw them in the microwave. If you are watching this and these meals are for you, I hope you enjoy the meals, and I hope the rest of you enjoy the recipes. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I will see you again soon.